Hello everyone and welcome to hear about Sanoma as an investment. My name is Kaisa Uurasmaa. I'm heading Investor Relations and Sustainability at Sanoma, and it's my pleasure to tell you about our leading K-12 learning business, where we are looking for further growth, and about the role of sustainability at Sanoma. In my presentation, I will cover basically three topics. The first one relates to our global learning business of K-12 education, where we serve about 25 million students in Europe, and we aim to grow this business further. I will come back to these details about K-12, for example. What does it mean? The second one, and maybe something where many Finnish people at least know Sanoma best, is our cross-media business. We are clearly Finland's number one cross-media company, and we reach almost all Finns every week. And as the last point in this presentation, I would like to tell you more about our unique sustainability position, as well as our balanced capital use between the growth through M&A and then also paying and increasing a dividend. And if you think what the learning business and the media business have in common, it's our purpose and it's our impact on society, because both learning and media have a positive impact on the lives of millions of people every day. And when looking at growing Sanoma, we have last year set an ambition that we would like that the company's net sales to be above 2 billion in 2030, with at least 75% coming from the learning business. And where we are today, last year our net sales were about 1.3 billion, and about 50% came from the learning business, while actually the learning business is generating already more than 70% of the earnings. But as promised, I will now first dive deeper into the learning business. So Sanoma is the leading player in K-12 learning services in Europe, and we are also aiming to continue to consolidate the market. And what does the K-12 mean? It means the statutory school of primary, secondary and vocational education that all the children take. So the children that we serve are between 6 to 18 years old typically. And what we offer there is everything that the teachers and the schools need in terms of giving the lessons to the students. And that includes printed and digital learning content. It includes digital learning platforms and distribution services, where we also offer, for example, other publishers' learning materials to the schools. So one-stop shop towards the school. And this is a stable and predictable market, as typically teachers only consider changing the learning materials every 4 to 8 years. That is when the government updates the curriculum that they follow. So we provide materials that fit actually the local curriculum. So whilst operating in 12 countries, we actually have a local business in each of the country, because the learning content is made in local language and it matches the local curriculum. I already mentioned the digital platforms as well as the digital learning content, and the digitalization in education is clearly accelerating. And we have a legacy in many of the leading countries when it comes to digitalization, including Finland and the Netherlands, for example. And that gives us a unique position because we have been able to develop best-in-class digital platforms that we can also then deliver to the less digitalized countries, give Poland, Italy, Spain, for example. And that gives us unique benefits of scale. What else digitalization brings as a benefit is that it provides better scalability more stable revenue streams and higher profitability, but it also is an important consolidation driver in the market, because this K-12 market is quite fragmented still. It's very local, so we are basically the only one operating in Europe with this wide scale. The competitors are mostly on a country level, and the local markets are quite or have quite high barriers to entry as well because of the local nature. And what we want to do is that we want to continue to grow this business through M&A, as we have actually done during the past, say, 20 years almost already. When looking at the learning business a bit backwards, so here you have our 5-year track. In terms of financials, you can see that the growth that has been has come from 2018 to 2022. So we have basically more than doubled the size of the business with M&A mainly. At the same time, we see that in the longer term, the annual growth, organic growth that is provided in this business is between 2 to 5%. So that's our long-term target in there. And another long-term target for this business is the operational EBIT margin, excluding PPA, to get above 23%. There you see that we are or have been somewhat below that target during the past years. And there are a few growth drivers for the business. So on the organic growth side, we can grow our market share and we can increase the value per student, so sell more per student. And then, of course, M&A has played an important role. If I then quickly move to the media business, as said, we are the leading cross-media company in Finland, reaching 97% of the people every week, with 1.5 million subscriptions in a country with 2.5 plus million households, and already 60% of those subscriptions including a paid digital component, and a decreasing share of the more volatile B2B sales. Here you see some of our familiar brands. So we are basically the number 1 or number 2 in each of the media channels. So in news, in TV and VOD, audio, magazines and festivals. And our strategic focus is on the news and feature side, so on the news media combined with magazines. Then on the other hand, on the entertainment side, which includes TV, VOD, radio and the said events business, as well as then the B2B or the advertising services that we can offer to companies across these channels. And on the pie chart, you can actually see the share of B2C sales, which is now slightly above half of the total sales, while the B2B is a bit less than half. And out of the B2B, the declining print advertising is actually only a small part, kind of 20% of the total Media Finland's net sales. And looking back again on the 5-year track on Media Finland's financials, we have a track of delivering solid, stable earnings and cash flow. You can see that the top line has been actually quite stable. Also during the time of the COVID pandemic, when the advertising market, for example, decreased significantly. Also the profitability or the earnings has been relatively stable. For this year, with the current mild recession in Finland, we expect actually the earnings to decline temporarily due to the inflation. And looking at the long-term financial targets for Media Finland, organic growth stable, and operational EBIT margin excluding PPA 12 to 14%. There also we have been slightly below that target during the past 5 years. And as mentioned already in the beginning, what is common to these two businesses is the positive impact that they have on the society. So inclusive learning, we are empowering the learning of more than 25 million students, and on the sustainable media side, trusted journalism and entertainment for all Finns is available through our channels. And I think that these are this is an impact that has been there for a long time, and it provides us a very unique position going forward also when the world is changing. Around this core business, we have built a sustainability strategy that includes 4 pillars, and those pillars are maybe something that are more common with other companies or companies from other industries as well. So the first one is trustworthy data. The second one is valued people, and the third one is vital environment, so climate impact, and then the fourth one is responsible business practices. And next, I would like to give you a few more concrete examples of a few of these topics. The first ones come from our business, so the learning and media side, and then the third one comes from the climate side. On the learning side, we do an annual teacher survey across the teachers that we serve in Europe. And last year, I think that it was close to 12,000 teachers that participated the survey. And according to the survey, our learning materials support the teachers and also save their time during the week, because the most important task for a teacher is to teach the students and be with the students, help them learn, instead of kind of planning lessons or doing some administrative tasks or something which easily take a lot of time. So when they have a well-prepared learning material available, and the learning material includes the teacher materials as well. So it's not only the book that goes to the students, but it's also the teacher materials. It's the ready-made exercises, tests, and kind of all that. And then potentially also checking those exercises digitally. That saves time. With a scarcity of teachers in many of our operating countries, this becomes a very important impact. Also, 84% of the teachers said in the survey that our materials support them in reaching the curriculum objectives, so that they can be more certain that the children that they teach actually learn what they are supposed to learn during the year. On the media side, we can increase awareness of global and local sustainability issues, and of course making sure that we base our journalism on facts and that it is independent. And an example from Helsingin Sanomat is that they launched HS Environment or HS Ympäristö, so part of Helsingin Sanomat, its own kind of supplement of content that is focused on environmental issues, in particular maybe climate issues, and they published actually 1,500 articles during the first year of operation, which was last year, and those articles were read 62 million times. Another example is the Kids News that was launched 2+ years ago. It's a printed newspaper targeted for kids, and there are several tens of thousands of children who are reading it either in the school or at home. And then the climate. On the left-hand side of this slide, you see our climate impact. So in our business, 5% of our emissions come from our own operations. So it's basically the facilities that we use or the cars that the company uses. And 95% comes from our supply chain or the value chain. And we have set ambitious targets to reduce these emissions. They are based on the science-based targets initiative, where they are actually currently being validated. And so by 2030, our aim is to reduce 38% of our own operations emissions, but also the same percentage of our emissions throughout the value chain. So we need a close cooperation with our suppliers across the value chain. And with that, we also want to be carbon neutral by 2030. And looking at our ESG or sustainability performance from an external perspective, there are of course several sustainability ratings that score Sanoma's performance. Here you see that the key ones of these, and we were also included in the Nasdaq Helsinki Sustainability Index end of last year. And if you would like to take a deeper look, for example, to the upright net impact, it's possible through our website, so you can find a link to that analysis there. And how it differs from the other ESG ratings is that they also rate the positive impact, which is quite rare. So you can imagine that the impact that we have on the learning or media business is actually quite difficult to measure, but the upright model actually incorporates also that positive impact. So I think it's quite interesting and worthwhile to take a look at. To almost conclude, in the beginning I mentioned the balanced capital use between growth and dividend. And according to our dividend policy, we aim to pay an increasing dividend. For 22, we did actually decrease the dividend compared to the previous year, while actually the payout ratio is close to 100%. So we are actually still paying out almost everything that we had as free cash flow in 22. And as a dividend yield, that comes close to 4% when looking at the end of last year share price. So summarizing this presentation, we have an ambitious strategy for sustainable, profitable growth. Sanoma is one of the global leaders in K-12 education. We are serving 25 million students, and we want to continue to grow this business. In Finland, we are the leading cross-media company in the country, and reach basically all Finns every week. We have transformed our business successfully into digital, and we will continue doing that. And we also have a unique sustainability position with the positive impact that learning and media have on society. And we aim to go through M&A in the learning business towards the 2030 ambition of 2 billion net sales, with at least 75% of that coming from learning. With that, I would like to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you. Quite interesting insight into quite a different sector, which we have been hearing before. So if we think about sustainability in the manufacturing industry, for example, it's quite different in your sector. So if you think about this whole ESG megatrend or sustainability megatrend, can we speak about actually that it's transforming your sector, or are we only kind of witnessing small changes and looking for the transformation going forward? And how do you think Sanoma is responding to those kind of increasing requirements?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I was also thinking it beforehand that actually in this industry it's not really a transformation in the sense that you might see in some, for example, green industries or so, because our the core of our businesses has been always kind of having a positive impact on society. So if you think about the role of media in Western democracy, it's very crucial. It has become even more crucial because we have seen it vanish in some countries, even close to Finland. And I think that also the importance of education has maybe even increased recently, so that even in times of more challenging economic environment, the governments actually want to invest in education and in digitalizing education. So I think that within the business, there are certain trends that take even sustainability forward, but as a whole, it has always been kind of, or it has always had a positive impact on society and been sustainable in that way.
Yeah, I think when I was listening to your presentation, it was really about kind of growing sustainable business in a sustainable way. So it's not only focusing on either of those. How would you describe the key benefits you're getting out from your ESG work?
Yes. I think that if you think about the nature of Sanoma's businesses, so the learning and media, both are creative industries. So we have more than 5,000 people working for Sanoma, and very professional and very high skilled people. For many of them, the kind of the values and the impact that the business has on society resonates very strongly, and it is visible only both in kind of keeping our current talent, but also in recruiting new talent. And if you take an example on, for example, the tech skills or people with good tech skills, we compete on scarce resources there. We compete, for example, with gaming companies, and for many of these tech professionals, developing an educational solution versus developing a game might resonate better. So we have really seen that there is a benefit for us in there. In addition, of course, the customer needs have been increasing, and there are also certain regulatory requirements that are increasing. And those relate, for example, to more inclusive learning content, better accessibility to digital learning platforms. We collect quite a lot of data, so the data and privacy part is also of extreme importance to our business. And all these, I think, also have the other side of the coin, which is then the risk management, so that you actually serve the customer needs, but also manage your own risks better.
Yeah, so what I hear is that there are many changes ongoing, and it's really about kind of people, so meaningful work, increasing customer requirements, increasing regulation, and it seems that Sanoma is really kind of preparing for those changes continuously.
Yeah, we think that we are well positioned and are, of course, developing all the time, because this is a field that also is in a continuous move.
Thank you. It was really interesting to hear about Sanoma's ESG work.
Thank you.